My parents gave my room to my sister's dog because he needs more space. I've been sleeping in the garage since April. No one cared until I posted a video of my new bedroom. Now my mom's group chat is blowing up and my sister is. Hi. I'm Violet, 22 female, and I live in Portland, Oregon. Or, more accurately, I used to live in a bedroom inside a house in Portland. Since April, I've been sleeping in a garage. And the reason is as stupid and humiliating as it sounds. My parents gave my childhood room to my sister's dog. It's hard to even explain how we got here without sounding like I'm exaggerating for the internet, but if you've ever grown up in a house where your needs were always second to someone else's, where you were the easy child so no one ever paid attention, you might get it. To back up a little, I graduated from Lewis and Clark in February. I moved home afterward because, well, rent in Portland is a nightmare and entry-level jobs in marketing pay like it's still 2005. I figured it would be temporary. I'd job hunt, help out around the house, save a bit, and get out within a few months. At first, everything was fine. My room was still as I left it, minus some dusty boxes of old paperwork. I cleaned it up, settled in, and was just trying to keep my head down and plan the next chapter. I was working on job applications every day, helping my mom clean, walking the dog occasionally, back when he wasn't my replacement, and generally being as useful as I could. Then came Sierra. My younger sister, Sierra, 19 female, lives at home full-time. She didn't go to college and instead pursued a content creator route. She's got a TikTok where she does those "get ready with me" and weekly aesthetic vlogs and makes a big deal about living intentionally. She has over 100K followers and considers herself an influencer, although I've never seen her do anything that qualifies as work. She spends most of her time yelling at people to be quiet while she's filming, or filming the dog. Oh, right, the dog. His name is Monty, and he's a Bernese Mountain Dog. She adopted him back in March, claiming it would complete her brand. To be fair, Monty is a sweet dog. He's huge, calm, and well-trained. But he's also 120 pounds and takes up a lot of space. Sierra started complaining about how her room wasn't conducive to Monty's energy and how he needed room to move around and breathe. That was her actual word. He can't breathe in my room. And then, one day in early April, I came home from the grocery store and found my room empty. I'm not being dramatic. Everything was gone. My clothes were in boxes stacked by the garage door. My mattress? Gone. The lamp, bookshelf, desk I'd built from IKEA with my dad when I was 17, gone. The posters I'd kept since middle school, my old Polaroids, even the curtains I hung last month, all of it. I stood there, in total silence, staring at my now green-painted bedroom with a brand-new faux wood floor and a giant custom-built ramp to the window seat. On the wall was a neon sign that said Monty's Place. There were bins of chew toys, a camera mounted on the ceiling, and a damn diffuser going in the corner with lavender-scented steam. My first reaction was laughter. Like, actual disbelief laughter. I thought maybe this was a joke. Maybe there was a surprise party about to happen or something. Then I went to find my mom. I said, "Where's my stuff?" She said, with a completely straight face, "Monty needs more space." I just stared at her. I said, "So where am I supposed to sleep?" Her answer? "We set up the garage for you." I wish I was kidding. I really do. I walked into the garage, thinking maybe they cleaned it out. Maybe they made it livable. But no. It was a garage. A cold, unfinished, spider-filled, oil-stained garage with a leaky ceiling and a single air mattress in the corner. There was a space heater, one of those tiny, $30 ones, plugged in next to an extension cord that ran through a puddle. My clothes were in plastic bins. There was a tarp covering some boxes next to me and the washing machine was maybe 3 feet from the bed. I confronted them again. My mom brushed me off with, "It's not permanent, Violet. Don't be dramatic. You said you'd only be here a few months." My dad, who was basically wallpaper in human form, mumbled something like, "We didn't want to stress Sierra out. You know how she gets." That part made me go cold. Because yeah, I do know how Sierra gets. She's been like this since she was 11. Throwing fits, weaponizing tears, getting her way because no one wants to fight her. I was always the quiet one. The helpful one. The resilient one. And now, I was the one sleeping in a damn garage so a dog could have my bed. I tried talking to them. Again and again. Every few days I'd gently remind them that I was in an unheated space with rats and black mold. They kept saying, just a little longer. Then Sierra started posting room tours on TikTok. Monty's room tour. With hashtags like #dogspo, #montyhome, and #bernicebaby. The worst part? Her followers loved it. People commented things like, "OMG, Monty lives better than me," and "Your dog's aesthetic is goals." No one cared that a real person had been displaced to make it happen. Until I made my own video. I was tired, cold, and bitter. So one night, I grabbed my phone and filmed a sarcastic bedroom tour of my garage. I didn't name names. I didn't say, "My parents are monsters" or "My sister is insane." I just showed the mattress next to the recycling bin, the drafty roll-up door, the water heater that clanged at 2 a.m., and added a voiceover like, "Here's where I sleep now that my room went to a dog." Luxury living. I posted it to my tiny TikTok account. Maybe 200 followers. I didn't expect anyone to see it. By the next morning, it had 80,000 views. By the end of the day? 500,000. People were outraged. Comments flooded in, "This is emotional abuse. Why are your parents okay with this? You need to leave now." And then someone found Monty's Instagram. It went from bad to worse in hours. Comments started flooding Sierra's account. Then someone linked my mom's Facebook. And apparently, someone shared the video in her favorite parenting Facebook group. I was in the kitchen when she found out. She came in screaming, "What did you do?" My dad followed behind her, saying, "You've embarrassed your family." Sierra came storming in from the backyard holding her phone like it was a murder weapon. "You ruined everything. You ruined Monty's brand." She was crying. Not over my garage mattress or my cold toes, over brand damage. I left the house that night and stayed with my best friend, Kaya. Her parents welcomed me without question. I cried in their guest room for 2 hours straight. Not because I felt guilty, because I felt like I finally snapped after years of being silent. The weight of being the invisible daughter had finally crushed me. I didn't go back for days. In that time, the video hit nearly 2 million views. It was on Reddit. People DM'd me offering help, or just support. Someone made a meme of Monty's window ramp next to a rat trap in my garage corner. I should have been humiliated. But I wasn't. It was validation. It was people finally saying, "Yeah, this is messed up." And then my mom's group chat apparently imploded. One of her friends sent her a screenshot and asked if the video was about her. Another mom commented, "That's animal abuse, but in reverse." Apparently, being called a bad parent publicly was more offensive than, being one privately. Anyway, I haven't gone back. Kaya's family told me I can stay as long as I want. I got a part-time job at a bookstore and started freelancing in design. It's not perfect, but it's warm. And no one's sleeping on a mattress next to an oil pan. I haven't spoken to Sierra since. My mom texts occasionally, mostly passive-aggressive stuff like, "We hope you're happy," or "Monty has anxiety now thanks to you." Sierra posted a video last week of Monty in my old room again. Same ramp. Same neon sign. I just scrolled past. And I know this post is long, but I needed to tell someone. Anyone. Because there's something horrifying about realizing that the people who raised you value their comfort more than your well-being. That a dog's aesthetic is worth more than your physical health. And yeah, maybe I went nuclear by posting that video. But you know what? Sometimes you have to scream before anyone listens. The days after the video blew up were some of the most surreal of my life. I remember sitting in Kaya's living room, wrapped in a thrifted blanket, refreshing the app like I was watching someone else's story. I couldn't stop. Every time I thought the video had peaked, it would gain another 50,000 views. And then another 100,000. It wasn't just teenagers and meme accounts watching it. People were tagging parenting groups, therapy pages, even family law advocates. A few mental health professionals commented things like, "This is how family scapegoating begins," and "She's experiencing emotional neglect, whether they realize it or not." I don't think my mom read all of them, but I know she saw some. Because she texted me a full paragraph one night, "This has gone too far. People who don't know our family are making judgments. This is your fault. You made us look like monsters." Not once did she say she was sorry. Not once did she ask if I was okay. Sierra, on the other hand, went into full PR crisis mode. She posted a story with tears in her eyes, petting Monty, and saying things like, "It's so hard being misunderstood, and some people are trying to destroy everything I built." She never named me, of course, but her followers knew. And they were divided. Some fans doubled down. "Your sister's jealous," one said. "You don't owe her anything." Others, "Not so much. You displaced your sibling for a dog," one wrote. "This is peak narcissism. I'd be lying if I said it didn't give me some grim satisfaction. Not because I wanted her to suffer, but because I needed proof that I wasn't losing my mind. That this wasn't normal. That someone else out there would look at what happened and say, that's not okay." A couple days later, my aunt in Michigan called me. "We aren't especially close, but she's always been the one family member who sees through the BS. She said, 'Sweetheart, I had no idea. Your mom made it sound like you were choosing to sleep out there. Like you wanted your own space.'" I almost laughed. "No," I told her. "I didn't choose the garage. I was put there like an old couch they didn't want in the living room anymore." She was furious. She told me I could come stay with her if I needed to. It was the first time in years anyone in my extended family offered me anything without a catch. Kaya's parents, meanwhile, were incredible. Her mom started leaving tea outside the door in the mornings. Her dad bought me a heated blanket without saying a word. I never felt like a guest. I felt like someone who mattered. It was jarring, to be honest. One night, maybe a week and a half after I left the house, I ran into my dad at the local Safeway. He looked surprised to see me. He had that awkward, stiff posture he always gets when he wants to avoid confrontation. "Hey," he said. "How are you holding up?" I stared at him for a second and said, "Cold. But better." He looked at his shoes and said, "Your mom's really upset." I waited. Nothing else. "Are you upset?" I asked. He shrugged. "I just wish you hadn't gone public with it." There it was. The truth. Not, "I wish we'd handled this differently." Not, "I'm sorry you felt like you had no other option." Just, "I wish you hadn't embarrassed us." I didn't respond. I just nodded and walked past him. I couldn't believe I'd spent years tiptoeing around these people's comfort. I used to think it was my job to keep the peace. But peace without justice is just silence. And I'm done being silent. Back at Kaya's place, I started picking up freelance gigs, small stuff at first. Helping small businesses with social posts, designing flyers, logo touch-ups. Word got around. People liked my work. And here's the funny part, after my video blew up, someone reached out asking if I'd be interested in helping with a pet brand's social media strategy. They found me through the dog drama. I don't know if that's irony or karma, but I took the job. It pays better than anything I applied to back in March. Sierra posted another video last week, this time a reset day vlog where she cleaned Monty's room, fluffed the throw pillows, added a diffuser with eucalyptus oil. Same music, same aesthetic. But her comments were different now. More people ask, "Is this the same room you took from your sister?" She ignored them. "My mom, I think, is trying to rewrite the story. I heard from a neighbor that she told people I chose to leave after a misunderstanding and that I was adjusting to adult life in my own way." Sure. I haven't responded to her last 3 texts. The latest one said, "I hope you can find it in your heart to come home. Monty misses you." That part actually made me laugh. I miss Monty, too, in a weird way. He's a good boy. He didn't ask to be dragged into the circus. But no, I'm not going back. I'm not even sure what home means anymore. A few days after the Safeway run-in with my dad, I started getting strange notifications. Not from TikTok, this time, those had calmed down. But from LinkedIn. Turns out, some of the marketing professionals who saw my video had connected the dots and were now visiting my profile. One woman messaged me directly. She was part of a mid-sized agency in Vancouver, Washington, just across the river. She said she liked how I handled storytelling, appreciated the tone of my original video, and asked if I'd be open to part-time contract work. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for a full minute before I responded. For months I'd been applying to jobs, tailoring cover letters, and getting nothing but auto-rejections. And here was someone offering me work, because I'd posted a sarcastic bedroom tour in a garage. I accepted, obviously. We set up a Zoom call that weekend, and I met her team. It felt good. Really good. They treated me like a human being, not someone who was just staying home temporarily. I didn't tell my family about the new job. By that point, I hadn't been in the house for almost 3 weeks. I'd stopped picking up calls unless it was Kaya, my aunt, or a work contact. The only real update I got was from a mutual friend of Sierra's, who'd met me on Instagram to say, "Hey, your sister's telling people you had a breakdown and moved out. Is that true?" I told her no. That I was just tired of living in a garage because a dog needed more space. She didn't respond. I didn't blame her. Sierra had that effect on people, either you were all in, or you got iced out. A few nights later, I got an unexpected text from my cousin, Raven. She's 2 years older than me and lives in Eugene. We hadn't been close recently, but when we were kids, we were inseparable. She'd clearly seen the video. "I just watched your TikTok. Violet, what the hell? Are you okay?" It was the first time in weeks I felt that kind of jolt, recognition, I guess. I told her the short version. She offered to let me crash on her couch if Kaya's place ever didn't work out. She even said, "I always knew Sierra was a manipulator. Don't let them gaslight you." That word, gaslight, stuck with me. I didn't grow up using it. We weren't allowed to talk back or disrespect our parents. But that's exactly what had been happening to me for years, wasn't it? Not just with the room. With everything. Being made to feel ungrateful whenever I brought up unfairness. Being told I was too sensitive when Sierra mocked me or turned family gatherings into her personal spotlight. Being guilt-tripped into silence every time I tried to advocate for myself. It didn't feel revolutionary at the time. It just felt like keeping the peace. Kaya's mom noticed the change in me, too. One evening while we were washing dishes, she said, "You're standing straighter." I looked at her, confused. "What?" "Your posture," she said. "When you first came here, you hunched. Like you were trying to disappear." I wanted to cry. Not because of what she said, but because she noticed. My own mother hadn't looked me in the eyes in years. Around that same time, Sierra made another move. She posted a passive-aggressive Q&A on TikTok. One of the questions she answered was, "How's your sister?" She smiled into the camera and said, "She's taking some time to focus on herself right now. We support her and hope she comes home when she's ready." That part? Infuriating. Because it painted her as the gracious one. The loving sister. Meanwhile, I was still blocked on her personal account. I didn't reply publicly. I thought about it. I even recorded a few drafts of videos where I laid it all out, the garage, the years of erasure, the way I was treated like a utility and not a person. But something stopped me. I didn't want to feed the monster anymore. Instead, I kept working. I added the Vancouver agency to my resume. I made new design samples. I joined an online community for creatives. I applied for a grant that Kaya's dad told me about. One morning, as I was logging into a Zoom call, I saw a familiar car pull up outside Kaya's house. My stomach dropped. It was my mom's car. She got out, holding a small bag, Trader Joe's, from the logo. She didn't knock. She stood on the porch for a few minutes, then turned around and left the bag by the front door. Kaya's mom found it when she came home from errands. Inside, a pair of fuzzy socks, a box of peppermint tea, and a handwritten note on floral stationery. "We miss you. Hope you're warm. Love, Mom." I didn't reply. Not out of cruelty. But because at this point, anything short of "I'm sorry, and we'll do better" felt hollow. Kaya's dad asked me that night if I was going to talk to them. I shrugged. What would I even say? He looked thoughtful. Maybe not what they want to hear. But maybe that's what you need to say. I'm still thinking about that. Meanwhile, back at the house, I've heard the cracks are showing. A family friend emailed me, someone I haven't spoken to in ages, saying she heard my mom wasn't herself lately. Another person said Sierra's been keeping to herself and hasn't posted a vlog in over a week. And then, the biggest twist so far, my dad emailed me. Not texted. Emailed. The subject line was, "Hope to talk." The body of the message was long, more words than I'd heard him speak in a year. "Violet, I know things have gone way off track. I'm not going to pretend I didn't fail you. I did. I stood by while you were pushed out of your own space, and I'm ashamed of that. Your mother and I thought we were making temporary decisions, but that doesn't excuse what happened. I've watched your video. I've read the comments. I've sat with all of it. I want to do better. I don't know if you'll believe that yet. But I'd like to talk. No pressure. Love, Dad. I read it 5 times. Then I closed my laptop. I haven't responded. Not yet. Because I'm still sleeping in a basement with a real bed and a real door and a space heater that doesn't sit in a puddle. And because, for the first time in a long time, I have something my old room never gave me. Peace. I didn't reply to my dad's email right away. I read it, then reread it the next day. Then I left it unopened for a full week, letting it sit there like a wound that hadn't quite scabbed over. I wasn't ready to talk. I didn't know if I ever would be. But then something unexpected happened. The dog brand I'd been freelancing for offered me a full-time position. Remote. Benefits. Decent salary. Not glamorous, but stable, and something I could build from. I accepted. The same week, the creative grant I applied for came through. It wasn't a fortune, but it was enough to help me put down a deposit on a tiny apartment in Southeast Portland. My own place. Kaya cried when I told her. Her parents hugged me like I was theirs. I promised to stay close, to come by on Sundays for brunch. But it was time. The apartment wasn't much, just a 450 square feet studio in a mid-century building that smelled faintly of old wood and potpourri. But it was mine. I had a key. A lock. 4 solid walls. A window that overlooked an actual tree. I took pictures the first night I moved in. My mattress on the floor. My thrifted desk. The little fake plant Kaya's mom had given me in a teacup. Then I made a video. A very calm, quiet, and simple video. Hi everyone. Some of you followed me because of a certain dogroom situation. I just wanted to say thank you, for your kindness, for your messages, and for reminding me I wasn't crazy. This is my new space. It's small, but it's mine. I'm safe. I'm working. I'm healing. I didn't name names. No drama. Just the truth. I posted it and went to sleep. It got 1.2 million views in 3 days. The comments were full of joy and pride. People who'd followed the original saga were congratulating me like I'd run a marathon. Some even offered to send me stuff for the apartment. I politely declined but thanked them anyway. Because honestly, their support had already given me more than I knew I needed. Sierra, of course, couldn't let it rest. 3 days after I posted, she made a video. I'm so glad my sister is doing well now, she said with a sugary smile. It's been hard on all of us, but healing is a journey. Monty and I are proud of her. Comments were not kind. They dragged her for trying to take credit for my healing. For pretending she hadn't pushed me out of my own home. One user wrote, she's the type to stab you and then ask why you're bleeding. A few days after that, Sierra went dark. No new posts. No Q&As. No dog content. Just silence. 2 weeks later, I got a message from the owner of the marketing agency in Vancouver, the one I worked part-time for before going full-time at the dog brand. She'd received an inquiry from a popular local influencer looking for help rebuilding her online presence after some unfortunate negativity. You guessed it, Sierra. The agency turned her down. Not just because of me, though that definitely played a part. They said she had a track record of toxic engagement and would not be a good fit for the brand's values. I didn't even have to ask. They told me voluntarily. They wanted me to know they had my back. I didn't smile out of spite. I smiled because it was the first time her behavior actually had consequences. The first time someone saw through the curated, edited version of her and said, no thanks. My mom eventually texted me again. Can we meet? Just coffee. No pressure. It took me a few days, but I agreed. We met at a cafe halfway between her neighborhood and mine. She looked tired. Older. Her hair wasn't curled like it usually was, and her cardigan had a coffee stain on the cuff. We made small talk. I told her about my job. She told me about Monty's anxiety medication. I almost laughed. Almost. Then she said it. quietly, like it physically hurts. I'm sorry. I stared at her. I needed to hear it again. I really am. I didn't see what I was doing. I was so used to Sierra needing everything, I didn't realize how invisible you'd become. I thought you were fine. Because you always were. But that wasn't fair. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't poetic. But it was real. And it was enough. We're not best friends now. But we talk. Slowly. Carefully. She asks about my job, sometimes my health. She even sent me a birthday card with a grocery store gift card inside. Small things. But better. My dad called once. We talked about the weather, the Blazers, and nothing important. Still, it was the most honest conversation we'd had in years. As for Sierra? She's still living at home. Monty's Instagram is private now. I've heard whispers that brands are less interested in working with her. She claims the haters destroyed her brand, but the truth is, people just stopped buying the curated version of her she tried to sell. I don't hate her. I don't even wish her badly. But I don't forget either. My revenge wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. There were no screaming confrontations or viral takedowns. Just me, quietly, deliberately, walking away, and thriving. Letting people see what she and my parents had done was the loudest thing I'd ever done. And it worked. Now, when I wake up, I open my eyes to morning light pouring through my window, not through a crack in a garage door. I make my coffee, walk barefoot on floors that belong to me, and work with clients who respect my voice. No more air mattresses next to paint cans. No more sheet curtains to block out the motion sensor lights. No more being treated like the spare part of a family that only noticed me when I made noise. I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm living. And I'm never going back.